Oop call his daughter's boyfriend son, causing the daughter to yell at the former.
I am not the OOP. Oop is you, Artistic Dad 2878. Account has since been deleted. Trigger warnings. Infidelity and suicide. Less than. Editor's note. Fixed some sentences for grammar purposes. Original post. September 7, 2023. I, 53M. Have a daughter. 25F. Who has been dating James. 28M. For 2 years now. Before meeting him, my daughter strictly told me not to mention his dad or any family members to him. He is not close with them. I didn't ask what happened because it was not my place to know. Genuinely. I liked him a lot.
He is a good man, responsible, neat and truly loves my daughter. We bonded well. I only met him a handful of times. This happened a few days ago. My daughter came to visit me along with James. I was fixing my car. James looked curious and asked what I was doing. I showed my car and said that I am fixing it. We go into talking and he told me he doesn't know how to fix his car. He just pays someone else to do it. I was shocked. I told him I can teach him. He doesn't need to waste his money on fixing basic things. I did teach him all the things. He was a fast learner. After he was done, I patted on his back and said, "Well done, my son." The expression on his face changed. He was happy in 1 second and then his face changed. He broke down crying on the floor. I tried my best to calm him down but he was wailing. By the time my daughter came he was in a fetal position.
I was confused. My daughter took him inside. He spent the night. My daughter just took his dinner in her room. She came downstairs and asked what happened. I gave her the details of it. She was angry. She was almost screaming and asked why the hell did I say "well done, son." She specifically told me not to mention anything about his family. I didn't. I just said "well done, my son" because that's what you usually say when you are proud of them. I didn't even utter the word father. It just slipped. I said sorry and asked if I could talk to him and apologize. She was pissed and told me to forget it. He is not in good shape. They left early morning. I don't know what I did wrong here. I have been asking my daughter about him and it was just one-word answers. What do I do? Relevant comments.
Absolute CNC needs therapy. You did nothing wrong. Oop, according to my daughter, he has been in therapy for 5 years. In and out. Redacted, your daughter is enabling his crippling mental illness. She'll learn eventually. Oop, I don't think she is enabling. She cares for him a lot. She is going to nursing school like her mother to become a nurse, so that's why she might be freaking out.
Update post. September 8, 2023. Posted 1 day later. I wanted to post an update on my previous post but the mods removed my post for God knows why. But then again the update is very long. Yesterday, when I made this post, my daughter called and asked if I can come to her place. I said of course. When I went inside, the first thing my daughter did was hug me and said she was sorry for yelling and berating me. She was wrong. She should have handled it like a mature adult. I told her it is fine. I understand why she panicked. She also said James wants to meet me as well. James was in their shared bedroom and asked for privacy. As soon as I went there, he started apologizing and said he didn't mean to make things awkward. He knows he shouldn't have cried like that in front of me. That he is a grown man and should have kept his emotions in check. He says he has never had a major breakdown like this in 3 years. Usually he is in control of his emotions. I asked him to calm down and I am not mad at him. But then he started telling me his story. It just made me sick to my stomach. Here it is back when he was in his final year in college. His mother had died the year before. His dad and mom got married too young because his mother was pregnant. They were both in bad shape. But his dad was even worse than before. He would often visit his dad along with his girlfriend. One day he found his girlfriend was cheating on him with his dad. I won't go into much details, but you can imagine the mess. His father gave him lame excuses like he was lonely and whatnot. He cut off all the contacts he had with his dad and went on to live with his grandmother. His grandmother did rip his dad a new one and threatened to call the police on him. After that he went into depression. He skipped his classes and flunked. He went through intense therapy and has managed well on his own. He moved out from his grandmother's state and came closer to us. That poor boy was sobbing while he was telling me this story, but in excruciating details. It almost made me cry. Also, that's not the reason he cried. He cried because few days ago, he received a letter from his grandmother that his dad has committed suicide. He wrote a letter to James. James did read the letter, but he felt nothing. He showed me the letter. It was basically that bastard apologizing and asking for a chance. I got a little gist about what happened after the affair was discovered. His father and that girl was pretty much ostracized by everyone. They lived in a small town, so the word got around. The father's friend basically disowned him. Every relative he had doesn't talk to him. He lost his respect and dignity. He begged his mother to give James's address, but grandmother refused. He couldn't find James because he changed his name. He goes by his maternal grandmother's maiden name. Also, in the letter he mentioned he had liver failure because after he left he drank alcohol. He regrets what he has done and knows he can never take it back. He will always have to carry the guilt. He has thought about suicide a lot of times. But he knows if he dies he has to answer his deceased wife about why he did what he did. Lastly, his dad mentioned he has no contact with that B1TCH because she was the reason why he lost his son. He does acknowledge his own fault, but mostly he blamed that girl because she seduced him. I can't believe even in his death he avoided accountability. James said he wasn't bothered by his death until that day, when I called him son. If it was some other time, he wouldn't have reacted the way he did. It was just the timing. He cried because he knew he lost his father forever. He didn't even go to his funeral because he knew if he did his progress would go down the drain. But he misses having a father. He knows what his dad did was wrong, but they were both pretty close. His dad was his cheerleader. He still couldn't believe his dad would do this to him.
He mentioned that if his dad was alive he probably would have contacted him in the near future, like in 10 or 20 years. But he just both of his parents forever. I apologized to him for triggering something like that. I also told him he is a wonderful man and any man would be proud to have a son like him. It's such a shame his dad threw it all away because he can't control his dick. Sorry, I know this is a dead person, but I have no respect for him. What he did was his and only his fault. And I am proud of him. He has managed very well for himself. He reassured me that even though he has trauma he never hurt my daughter and really loves her. He said that he has been thinking about asking her hand from me.
Now, I would have said yes, but I put some conditions. That he needs to get a psyche evaluation and go to therapy. I know he is a good person, but now he is not in a good headspace. He should take my daughter to couples counseling with him. He accepted them without hesitation. As for my daughter, I did ask her why she kept this huge thing away from me. She said she didn't want me to judge him, that she knows what he went through and it really hurts her to see him being triggered. She did mention she heard him cry in the bathroom when they first moved in. She loved him and understands that he has PTSD, but according to he is the best guy she has ever dated. I told her I do not care who she dates, be it a truck driver or a billionaire or someone who is an orphan, as long as the guy is good and treats her well. She has my approval. Sorry, that was long, but it is tough to summarize everything in such short words.
Reminder, I am not the oop.
God, that went so much better than I expected reading the first part. Op doesn't seem like a miraculous saint. Just a normal, decent, kind person. Which is what the boyfriend needed then.
If this is true, this is heartbreaking and Op is a great dad. That is all.
If true, I really hate when people dump someone else's private information into a post like the update. We didn't need to know any of that. Here, let me share my son-in-law's darkest moments with strangers on the internet. Because I already shared that he had a nervous breakdown from a seemingly benign interaction. Does anyone else remember that post from a few years back about a guy who had his fiancée cheat on him with his own father? Seems kinda similar. Thank you for trusting me with this deeply personal, emotional trauma. Hey Reddit, guess what? Quote. It's a great heartbreaking read, but some stuff just doesn't add up. Like, why would the grandmother threaten to call the police on the dad having an affair with James' then girlfriend? Inappropriate, yeah, but if they were in college she had to be at least 18 years old, so not really a police matter if both were consenting. Also, how is 10-20 years a short time? Sounds like a well-written story by a high schooler or bot. This must be one of Liz's rough drafts. I can't imagine someone having a full-blown breakdown over being called son. Lol, I've called people son just because I was reading too much Hellblazer. It was nice of the OOP to spill this character's entire secret tragic backstory for the internet. Though. Why did you keep this very huge, very private thing from me? Don't know, Dad. I guess it's because I didn't trust you not to immediately tell all of Reddit. I could almost believe it. Except when he says it's horrible and heartbreaking. Here it is. That, here it is, gets me every time. No way is this true, but I enjoyed reading woman shrugging light skin tone. Do 53-year-olds really speak right like this? Let me know, please. Am I the only one who is concerned that he is telling the BF story in such detail in such a popular forum? It could get back to him, and that's the last thing he needs. If this is real. This one is kind of sweet. I hope James and OOP's dog there are doing well. I showed my car and said that I am fixing it. What were you fixing? He doesn't know how to fix his car. He just pays someone else to do it. I was shocked. I told him I can teach him. He doesn't need to waste his money on fixing basic things. I did teach him all the things. He was a fast learner. You taught him all of basics in an afternoon? What do you consider the basics? Is doing the basics the same as fixing the car? To me, something that is broken gets fixed, and doing routine maintenance isn't considered fixing it. Is the phrase, "well done my son," strange to anyone else? I know that son doesn't always necessarily refer to a related child, but adding my in front just seems odd to me. That boyfriend needs a better therapist if he's that unregulated 5 years in emo. James was in their shared bedroom and asked for privacy. He started telling me his story. It just made me sick to my stomach. Here it is. OOP is either a lying storyteller or totally oblivious to everyone and everything around them, and it won't be long before he says something about this private story in front of James again.
Yeah, nah. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.